Welcome to episode 3 of the Beyond Socials podcast. Today we're entering the music scene with a guest who's lived multiple lives in one career, from spinning tracks as one of Puerto Rico's most recognized DJs to shaping sound behind the boards as a music engineer. My guest has been a force in Caribbean music for years, but here's what makes this conversation special. He's someone who's had to completely reinvent his relationship with music, not once but multiple times. And if you know anything about the podcast, you know we love talking about people who bet on themselves in ways nobody saw coming. So whether you speak English, Spanish, Spanglish, like we're about to, maybe get ready for a conversation about what happens when life forces you to remix everything you thought you knew about your purpose. Please welcome Nattyvo. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's honestly an honor. I've ever since I've heard about you and your journey, I was really excited to ask you to come on, and I'm just really looking forward to hearing about your story.
Awesome. I'm also looking forward to do this interview. I saw your first interview, and I'm looking forward to have the conversation. I like that about remixing. Awesome. That sounded pretty cool.
Yeah, I tried to use a little something clever.
Yeah. That was clever.
So let's get started. You're known as Nattyvo, but would you like to share what your actual name is, or do you prefer to just be recognized as that?
My real name is Fernando, actually. But
okay. Where's the inspiration from that?
Nattyvo? Yes,
yeah.
Well, the word when I did this, I had long dreads when I came up with this name. My first name in music actually was Rican Dread, which is Rican Dread.
Okay.
And I started doing what was known as a sound system back then in Puerto Rico, which, people were not doing it. And we were like the first people to do that. And I came up with that name. But after, I never thought about being a DJ or anything like that. And after I started DJing, when I started DJing, I changed it to Nattyvo because of the spelling. I spell it Natty, which in Rasta or reggae circles, that is someone that has a lot of dreads or heavy dreads. That's not Natty.
Yeah, I thought of Natty
yes,
Dread.
Natty Dread, which was one of my favorite Bob Marley songs. Yeah. And then the word Nattyvo in Spanish means native. When I was a kid, I had real ease learning English, and I kind of participated, in third grade or something like that, in the spelling bee, and I was in the Nattyvo category, native category. So that always stuck to me, identified as Nattyvo.
That's so
right?
cool.
And then when I came out, I was like, Nattyvo. So that's how it came out.
Okay. I love that. That's so cool.
And it's stuck ever since. Even though now I don't have dreads, but people knew me as that name, so I kept it.
Awesome. I love that. So tell us about your introduction to music.
Well, my music journey is a very eclectic one. I grew up in a musical environment that was not common to my environment. Musical environment that was not common to my environment, and being redundant because I was in Puerto Rico, in the country where everybody was listening to salsa and other stuff, and I was at home listening to Motown. My dad was was a black New Yorican in the 60s. That was his time, and he was a Vietnam veteran, so he was really a brother. He would listen to The Temptations, Isaac Hayes, Otis Redding, and that's what I grew up listening to, which is pretty crazy in a country, in campo, in the countryside in Guayanilla. I was always very alien. And then my mom on the other side was playing Elton John and Silvio Rodriguez and Roy Brown, and I hated Elton John and I hated Roy Brown, but now I think they're so cool. I hated it, but now I'm I listen to it. you know. So then after that, you know, I got my little radio and started listening to American music, whatnot. Then I got into reggaeton as it was, you know, the beginnings of reggaeton. I started listening to it because that was part of the barrio culture. But then,
Right.
at 12 years old, my dad told me about reggae and about Bob Marley. But then at 18 years old, I found Bob Marley, and that forever changed the course of my life. You know, ever since reggae was always an important part, and I became a heavy fan in the what you would call the golden era of the amphitheater in Puerto Rico, the amphitheater. I went probably to I don't know, 30, 40 concerts in that time. I saw all the legends, and I was like, I grew dreads. You know, I was really into the culture, which was back then in the 90s. Wearing dreads was not cool. You know, you would be stopped by police. You'd be searched. You'd be hit by police. You know, a lot of things.
Yeah.
You know, your family would disown you. You know, the people would think that you were a junkie. People would stare at you.
Yeah.
So, but I loved the reggae music, and I always remained in there. And through that, I ended up having a cousin who came from Puerto Rico. He was New Yorican, but he came and brought all these reggae vinyl records. Like, he was a DJ. He brought these reggae vinyl records, and I was like, wow. I was already a big fan, but I never heard this kind of reggae before. And I was like I'm talking about the heavy, heavy shit. I'm like, God damn, where did this come from? Wow. I started learning from all these angles and different sounds, and I started even differentiating the sounds. I was like, yo, this is Lee Perry. This is John Laws. The way they produced. But never thought being a DJ. I never thought being a DJ. One time I'm with my cousin, you know, and he's making a remix or something. And he's trying to put something into rhythm. And I'm just watching and I'm just listening. I'm hearing in my head how it goes, but he can't. He can't do it. It was like a very offbeat rhythm, very offbeat. But he wouldn't go with the song, but somehow in my mind, I could make it go. And I was like, yo, let me do it. He was like, nah. It's like, let me do it. I know how it goes. I was like, boom, on the first one. He was like, yo. So from that day on, I gained some respect, you know. And then that cousin gifted me 2 turntables. Used turntables. They were beat to death, but it was free.
Wow.
2 turntables and a 19-inch mixer, which is like an 80s mixer. And we're talking about the year 2000. So 2002, 3, something like that. And I started practicing every day with that. Every day. I had some records. I have a friend that gave me a crate. A crate. So I got all kinds of records from Gloria Gaynor, hip hop. I had Nas. And then I had like a whole stack of reggae 45s after that. And a friend said to play his birthday party. That's the first person I said, hey, I like it. He used to come to my house, you know, and chill. He's like, I love what you do, man. Why don't you do my birthday? I'm like, really? He's like, yeah. So that's the first time I played. It was very surreal because I was like, this is what I do for fun. And I'm like, I'm doing it, and then spitting that. All of a sudden, I look. That's the first time I look because I was so into it. I used to love it so much. And I look, and everybody's like, wow. And I'm like, oh shit, what's this? What kind of energy? Yeah, I know. What kind of energy is this? And then I started scratching or, you know, doing little things like, I mean, I wasn't really good at it, but, you know, it was something, you know, small. And from that day on, I started playing as a DJ, and I started kind of like doing something that there were other people that had been playing reggae before, you know, like DJ Nature and probably other people, but I just specialized in reggae. And I was the first DJ to kind of do that, you know, just like being a reggae powerhouse. Because I said, if I'm going to play a DJ, I don't like playing music that I don't like. I like playing what I like to listen to. So
right.
I started playing reggae, and none of that top 40. I don't care about that. I didn't care if I played every week. I just wanted to play reggae, and since I did it wholeheartedly, and I people felt the energy, and I think that was what made me kind of start paving a way, because at first in the reggae scene when I started, they wouldn't even put me in the flyer. I had to message people like, yo, what am I? Am I invisible or something? Like, I'm gonna play. Like, give me some respect. I started like messaging people like, no, if I'm playing this party, you gotta mention me, because I was a reggae DJ in the reggae scene in Puerto Rico. Was seen as a sidekick, almost like an iPod. No respect. I wasn't a show. I was like, you know what? Screw that. I'm a show. Come and watch me. Awesome. Come and listen to me. That. And you have to come early, because you got to listen to me before the band plays. Yeah,
I love that.
And so I started paving a way, I guess. And some people have come after. The reggae scene kind of has diminished a little. But some people have come and still are doing it. We have Dr. Digital H, Ace at the controls. We have, I think, Javi Borinquen Rockers is playing too. And that was the way as a DJ. Then I moved over here to the United States right when I was opening concerts. I started opening concerts one after the other. And I was like, oh, I'm picking. But it really wasn't, I wasn't making any money. So then, and I had a family. And I was like, I got to do something. And like many others, I found myself with my lights cut off, barely paying the rent. I'm like, I sacrificed so much to finish school and do this. And now I'm starving still. I've always starved in my whole life. And I went to school and I'm still starving. Like I can't, I have a family, And I'm like, my son is not going to go through this. So I took a really hard decision, came to the United States, had a job waiting for me, and start all over here. So I started doing an internet show. This was way before COVID. I created a page called Coqui Reggae Radio. Coqui as the frog that symbolizes all Puerto Ricans, reggae radio. And I had, a lot of DJs playing with me there for a while. I had people in Mexico. I had people in Argentina. I had people in Chile. It was a big crew in Mexico. Mexico is huge. And the reggae scene over there is gigantic.
Wow, I had no idea.
And they started streaming through my page from Mexico. So we had a crew of Coqui Reggae in Mexico.
That's so cool.
A big up to them, Irie Bashman crew and all the people. I mean, they would bring up guests that I didn't know who these people were, and every time they were awesome. I'm like, yeah, thank you guys for bringing all your friends, And we started having listeners from Mexico, but, what can I say? When things, that require a lot of people to work, in the long run, it's not easy to make it work.
Yeah. Would you say that was like the hardest part about being a DJ?
Like getting away from the island, you mean? Like getting over here? Yeah. Because I tried.
Or what would you say? What would you say is the
being
hardest
a DJ?
part of being a DJ?
That people, I think the part that bothered me was that people thought you were an iPod. Sometimes they have no respect for the DJ, or like don't come and don't come and tell me what to play. If if you are here, you came to listen to me. People would say, hey, I want to hear this song. Or they would say, I'm leaving. Can you play my song? And I'm like, dude, I'm like playing dancehall right now, and you asked me for Lovers Rock. Just those things were the only thing that I found hard to deal with. And if you're playing once you got a residency somewhere, like I had a residency in a place that was really hip in Puerto Rico called Pal Cielo back then, and you had to deal with drunks after some time, and so other times, like when you're starting, like businesses don't want to really pay you as they should. They say, I had several times they say,
right.
I'll give you a certain percent of the bar. End of the night, they were like, like we didn't make that much money. I don't know if you could. I'm like, bro, come on, man. Like, like always with some shady stuff, But it was being a DJ was good and bad at the same time, But I say there was a lot of more good parts that you feel very powerful, and it's intoxicating when you have power over people. Like you move them, like you literally, like you doing the energy and you you move them. People are like, oh my god, blah, blah, blah. And you're doing the vibes really, and the good DJ is the one that plays songs that people didn't know they wanted to listen. Because if you always listen, you always listen to the same stuff. I mean, at least me. Usually, you always go back to some of the, and then you have a phase, and But then a DJ plays a song that maybe I wouldn't have played on my iPod or whatever, and I was like, "Damn, this song is so good. I haven't heard it in so long." Blah, that's the DJ.
Someone who knows how to read.
But the thing is, you play other people's music. And after a while, just being so busy, I just stopped doing it, because I wasn't really getting any joy out of it at the end of the day. And I stopped doing it, And I was like, what can I do in music? Because I have so much music inside of me. I can't stop singing. I can't stop listening. I can't stop trying to create. And I said I had to do something. So I had like a life-changing event. I went through cancer, and I went to treatment and all of that. But when I went through cancer, I had a lot of time to think. And first of all, I the first thing, I couldn't listen to music for a whole year because I had something in.
How was that for you? Like, why did you feel like?
Because physically, I couldn't. Because what I was going through, I didn't know what I had. So I was sick for 3 years and didn't know what I had before being diagnosed with cancer. And I had surgeries in my head because like the dog would bark and it would literally hurt my brain. So I couldn't really listen to music. And I got into plants because they don't make any sound. So, but I couldn't listen to music really for a year. And that kind of, made me think and made me kind of want it more. And I said, I have to do something because life is real short. And I have to get this that is inside of me out somehow. And I was like, I got to study something in music because I already had a career. So I did a research and boom, boom, I came up on audio engineering. I'm like, well, that's great because I get to do music. This is really cool. I've always had a fascination with faders and knobs. It's weird, but I love faders and knobs. It's like, I love doing this, doing that. That's one thing that I loved about DJing, all the faders and knobs, right? But then I'm like, audio engineering is all faders and knobs. I'm like, hell yeah, I'm going to like that. And once I got into the first class, which was Audio 101, and started learning about, signal flow and all those interesting things, I was like, God damn, I was born for this shit. I love this. Like, give me more. Every class, I was like, give me more, give me more. I want to learn more and more. 'Cause that is one thing about me. I love to learn. I love to learn. If I do something and I always try my best. Because my dad, one of the things that, some bad things, but one of the good things that he taught me is that every time you do something, you do it well. And you do it your best.
Yeah.
And that has really made me be successful. Because I always try to be the best. So if I'm not the best, if I'm not here, at least I get to hear. So when I was a DJ, I was trying to be the best. So if I wasn't the best, I was known.
Yeah, I actually really loved that part that you shared, like, that you went out there and you claimed your skill and you're like, no, I'm actually good. And I feel like that's something that, especially in the DJ scene, because I'm learning for fun, but eventually I would like to like play at some places.
It's fun
because I love music. But I've heard so many DJs, even especially females, but like as a beginner, like there's so many people in the DJ industry that they just top notch and they're like telling you how you should play and all this stuff. And I just feel like, yeah, you went out there and you were like, no, fuck this, I'm gonna do this. Like, I'm gonna actually get what I wanted, what I came here for, which was to play music. And what's great about what you said is that you didn't cave to like what was just trendy. Like, it's okay to definitely play that, and I see that, but I love that you wanted to play something that you were interested in, what you were passionate about hearing, because the audience found you. You didn't go searching for it, which is awesome.
Yeah, and like, since I played a music that was spiritual to me and that I enjoyed so much, I was very different. I would literally transport myself when I was playing. I'll be dancing. I'll be like doing crazy shit. Like, it was like I would be so into it and do so much stuff, so much crazy shit. I would be like dancing, and like doing shit, and then I would not look at the videos. I was like, no, I did not do that shit. That was not me. But because I was like, as an artist, I consider myself Nattyvo as an alter ego. Because I'm the Fernando regular is not like that, you know. But when I was Nattyvo, I was somebody else, you know, and I could fly with the music, you know, and I could feel it. I could like just say the words because I know every word that I'm playing, you know. When the beat, when the kick drums, my body goes in a way, you know, and the snare and my body goes another way, you know, and music is flowing through me, and I really enjoyed that part. The other bullshit, you know,
I love that.
like you say, it's overcrowded, and before, you know, I like 10 years ago, everybody wanted to be a DJ, and the difference is when I started and before that, not everybody could be a DJ. Because first of all, the equipment was expensive as hell, and it was turntables. Then came the CDJs and stuff like that. But you had to really know how to play. There was no sync button. Which people nowadays, they just buy a controller, it has a sync button, boom, bam, everything is like so easy for you to DJ. Before I did that, my cousin made me say how many beats per minute this song has. Then I had to start counting and write them down in a notebook so I could mix and have all the BPMs, you know.
Friendly reminder, if you're watching this episode and you're not subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button and be sure to hit the bell notification so you're up to date with each new episode. Let's continue. So tell me about your first time, like, at a big event as a DJ. Like, did you see anyone? Did you share the stage with anyone? Where was it?
I don't know. A big one, I would say. The first time I played with Cultura Profética was in a place called Cultura Profética is like one of the pioneers of Latin American reggae and probably the most famous Puerto Rican reggae band.
Yeah.
And so I was playing at this place, Fresh Grill, and actually it was a really hip place at the time. And they started the owner was a real reggae head, and even though it was in a business area, Torrey, it was like a oasis there, and he saw me play somewhere, and he said to go and start playing like a residency there, and I was playing for a couple of months, and then he did the anniversary of the place, and Cultura came to play for the anniversary.
Wow, that's awesome.
So I got to open with my friend Young Raga Ramon back then. That's we used to know him, but then he became Young Raga, and that's another story. He became a legend, and he played with me, and there was Cultura, and I was like, that was the first time I was like, damn, I'm backstage with Cultura, you know, and yeah, it feels weird. I don't know. It feels cool to be backstage as a DJ, that you get to be like, you know, the stage and look at the show from there. Is very different than being in the crowd. So
yeah, I bet. That's awesome.
that was the first time.
I love that.
Yeah.
By the way, guys, like Cultura Profetica is like a very well known band, or what I say band, and in the reggae scene, and they are still strong till this day. So it's really cool when you get to have an interaction with someone like that, or people like that. That's very cool.
And I knew some of them, but some of them after became my friends, you know, and I was like, one of the things that DJing gave me was that the idols that I knew from Puerto Rico, from the reggae scene, they all became my friends, like as equals. And I was like, you know, this is so cool. Like I can talk to this person that actually was an idol of mine. I never thought I'll be friends with, you know.
Yeah. That's awesome to like share a community with musicians. I feel like that's one of the best things about music, is like when you get to meet people that understand like your love for music and the hard work and dedication it takes to create music.
Absolutely.
They get you in a way other people might not, you know. So that's so awesome.
It's a different language.
It is.
We talk in a different language. We say it's so crazy to talk with another artist or another musician that you say, oh wait, well maybe I'm not that crazy, you know. There's other people like me, you know, that think differently, and everything is music, and it's everything in their life. It has to be about music, and that makes you feel good.
Yeah, I love that. I would love to know, give us actually 3 tips you have for aspiring DJs.
I don't know, to be honest. I don't know. I don't know. I stopped doing that professionally besides my show so long ago that if I wanted to come back to it and like be playing live like that, I don't know, you know, I don't know really what to do now. It's all different now too in the internet, and the Instagram. You gotta have an Instagram following, and you gotta have a persona and all of this that I'm trying to do now as an artist, which is what I'm trying to do now.
Tell us a little bit about that. How did you transition from this mentality of like being a DJ? Now you got into sound engineering, and you're making music, which is awesome. So what about, let us know about that transition. When did that come about? Did you always think about being an artist at all, or did this take you by surprise?
Well, I didn't know I was gonna end up being an artist, but I grew up. My mom would always sing, and I have always been singing the music that I listened to, and sometimes when I was in Puerto Rico and I saw people playing and some bands, I mean, I don't want to sound like, I don't know, in the wrong way, but I would say I could do that too. When I sing, I could do a lot of things, you know, even though I still didn't know how to sing correctly, or I don't know, I needed a lot more coaching. But I was like, you know, may not be better, but I think I could do that someday. And actually, this is crazy. There was a band called Yerba Bruja in Puerto Rico. And they were fronted by a man called Misael, who's now my friend. And something happened that the band and Misael were gonna part ways, and they did an audition, and I auditioned with this other dude, and I did okay, but that didn't come to fruition. And I was like, that was the last time the only time I tried, and I kept on DJing. However, when I finished audio engineering school, it's just like the DJ business. It's right now it's oversaturated. There are so many audio engineers. And I was telling this to my friends, and I was like, man, there's so hard to stand out. It's like, yeah, but it's full of bums. And I'm like, I maybe, but it's just so hard to get into it because when you don't have a body of work of what you can do, or if you haven't worked with people don't really want to work with you, or they want you to do it for free. You know, so I was like, you know what, I finished school. I did 6 months of internship working in a studio. Like I thought I paid my dues, and I'm like, I should start making money out of this. Like, I mean, not making, but at least getting paid for work, because nobody works for free. Why should I work for free?
You shouldn't.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I need to start making money. So I have probably 200 incomplete songs in my phone.
Wow.
Like incomplete.
That's crazy.
I would get melodies, and probably more for years. I get melodies, bass lines, and I'll record it in my phone, but I never knew how to finish a song because I always thought it wasn't good enough. I was my own worst critic, and I never could finish because like a whole song through, maybe I come up with a hook, maybe a verse, but I would not finish it. So I'm like, I want to do it. I after audio engineering, I did like a duo with a classmate, and I sang. The first time I recorded myself singing, and it was a hook, just a hook, and he liked it. And I was like, yeah, it's all right, why not? So always criticizing myself too much, and I'm like, nobody's giving me work, so I'm like, I know this guy, Dan Luis, who happens to be your husband.
Yes.
He seemed like
he's also our video producer.
Yeah, big
and
up to
helps me edit. So shout out to Dan Luis.
Big up to Dan Luis, because I have to tell you, without him, I wouldn't be singing today as I am now.
Oh, I love that.
I have all this music inside of me. I always had, but I never knew how to express it fully. And so I was talking with him, bro, and we're like, oh, let's make music. And I've had the bad experience that, this thing about Puerto Ricans is crazy. We're really cool people, but we really talk a lot of shit, and we don't come through. It's like, God damn, another one. It's like, because people say, yeah, we're going to do this, boom, 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 and they don't come through. And I really, it's really hard for me to deal with that because I'm a man of my word.
Right.
I live by my word.
Yeah.
If I tell you something, I'm going to do it. I can't do it, I'll let you know. But I feel that's like, but in Puerto Rico, it's like so many people say things. So I talked to Dan Luis, and I don't know what happened. We couldn't go through it. And I was like, okay, he's another dude talking shit, not doing it. He's not going to come through. I was like, well, whatever, But then he messaged me, and let's do it. And I was like, oh, okay. So he's not like the other ones. I'm like, okay, let's work. And so I started like pitching him some stuff, and we started working on our first song, our first single called Erased. There was a lot of things going on at the moment and it's still going on with history being erased, and how everything that you know about Africa is slavery and after slavery. And if you ask anyone, can they tell you something about Africa before slavery? They can't.
Yeah.
This is all you know. Is Africa slavery, Africa post slavery, and America slavery. But and I started thinking about that, and I started writing a song, and I pitched him how I like, because he's a big Midnight fan, and Akai Baker fan, from Bun Benjamin. That's my top guy. So his sound kind of went with what I wanted to do. Like he really understood what I wanted, what the sound that I wanted to do. And for the first time, I started recording. I went to the studio, started recording a song, and everything has been, I call it a divine inspiration.
Yeah.
Because like things just, I have my spiritual beliefs, and I believe these things are whispered into me, by my ancestors and my people, and I am their voice. So I'm the channel right now, and they're using me in some way, because these things just come to me, and that's how I needed a way to these things that always have come to me for years and years and years, how to put them out and find a channel. And that's how the first song was born, because Don Luis was able to kind of like get what I wanted and also guide me in a way. And then I developed myself. I developed myself through the song. I've always been a writer, because I write poetry, I write a lot of things.
Awesome.
But how to write a song is different. It's very different than writing a poem in some way. And he was able to galvanize, all of that and put it into sound. And I was like, okay, I got a freeway to run here. And I took it, and it came out as the first single. And I was like, okay, here's what I can do. And it was a really complicated project for me. I had to grow a lot as an engineer. It was a full live band with just the drums is a whole song to mix. Because you have to learn a lot of things. Even though you did those things in school, you did them in internship, now it's different. There's nobody here to tell you nothing, nobody here to save you. And in our engineering, it's something that if you get one sound wrong or something, it's just a chain of events. So I remixed and all that. I think I even overmixed that song, and then I went back to basics and I did it, and I was satisfied. I like I say, I'm my worst critic, but I was okay with the song. But the people from the reggae scene in Puerto Rico said, where did that come from? Nattyvo? Because everybody knew me as a DJ. Nattyvo, you sing? That's you? I'm like, yeah, that's me. But I was like, still, I didn't think too much. Like, I was like, I can't believe I did this. First of all, I still like, I listen to the songs and I'm like, how did I write that? How did I come up with that rhyme? I'm trying to looking back in time and trying to decipher how did that come about.
Yeah.
And so then I'm like, I really like working with him, and I'm like, bro, let's keep working. Let's keep working. And now that song made me feel more self-assured.
That's awesome.
Even though I thought I was okay, I was like, but I did it. Now next time I'm gonna come back stronger. I'm gonna take that knowledge and make it grow, and make it grow here a little bit, because they say success is a continuation of small increments. Right? That's what I'm doing. I'm growing here, and I had to grow in so many ways. Just as a singer, vocally, I had to learn as an audio engineer so much, because not only did I have to record it, I had to mix it and master it. Now,
that's a lot.
That's a very complex thing to do, especially your own music.
Yeah.
Between audio engineers, you say, give it to somebody else to master it.
Yeah.
Because they're going to take your voice, and do it in a different way than you do, and because you're just hacking at things because you don't like them. It's you like trying to make it perfect, because it's very rare. A lot of most people that I've talked to that sing, I mean, unless you have a really amazing, impossible to deny voice, are always a little insecure about it. And when you're engineering your voice, you're like, oh dang, I gotta cut these frequencies, and I keep cutting, and then I took everything out of it. I took the juice out of it, and I learned that. So the next single was I was doing a Spanish song, and I said, let's do the next one in Spanish, and I sent him the chords. I sang something in Spanish. I got this, he liked it, I sent him the chords. But then he sent it back to me, and he said, hey, I changed the bass line a little bit. I tweaked it. Because I did the bass line, but, I'm not a bass player. I'm not, I try, but he's a real musician. Yeah. And he returned it to me, and a few months back, I was here in my room listening to Midnight, and they went to instrumental, and I just heard this whisper in my ear, roots in the morning, just like that. I was like, oh shit. And I started singing it in the song. I was like, oh shit, it goes. So I recorded it in my phone. And I'm like, okay, that's good. But I didn't do anything with it. When he sent
Right.
me that with the new bass, I was like, this falls perfectly. I sang it with what he sent it. What he had sent to me, and I was like, bro, check this out. I did this a while back, and he was routine on. I just sent him the hook. He was like, yo, that's good. That sounds like Midnight. I was like, really? It's like, yeah. And that's when we started working on this song, which I feel really proud.
Yeah, it's great. Congratulations on that.
Thank
it's
you.
really awesome.
I feel we can still, there's always a lot to grow, but I feel like we grew a lot.
Yeah.
From this first single to this one, I feel we grew a lot in all kinds of ways. Not only me, I feel that Luis sound also like kind of, it's taking a personality of his own too.
Yeah.
And then we got some other people that came along and brought their own sound to the idea that I started working, and then I started adding stuff, and that felt really, really wonderful to be able to do that. And this one, I kind of like when I sang it, I still surprised myself, and I was like, of the things that I did, and I was like also embarrassed at the same time, because when you sing, there is nothing more vulnerable than singing.
Yeah, for sure.
My God. When I was a DJ,
it's so scary.
I was singing, I was playing other people's shit. Everybody sings great. Every records, I'm like, take that.
Yeah.
Boom. Perfect, right? But now it's me.
Yeah.
Now it's like,
that's hard.
I hear everything. I hear everything wrong. Everything that I think is wrong or whatever. And you're singing. And people don't know, when they don't know you as a singer, you're even under more scrutiny because they know you as a DJ. So they're like, you sing? Some people don't even want to listen to it, to be honest. But the people that took the chance, we've had some really good feedback from the people in the reggae scene, and we are developing a sound which is I feel like I want to keep working with Dan Luis. I see him as my partner in this, my partner in crime, because we can talk in a certain way. He has coached me in some things too that now I've added to my knowledge, to my tools, like some harmonies and stuff that if you're not a musician, it's hard for you to really get these things unless you do them. Like, I feel like the harmonies in this song are good, but he coached me to it, But now I got that knowledge. So for next song, I learned this, So I added more tools, and we just we work in a very similar way. We are very hard workers. We make things happen, And I that's the kind of people I want to work with. To make things happen.
That's important. That's so important.
That people that are professional, people that are timely. Timely. I don't mean be there at 10 or 1. I mean in a professional setting, like don't take a month and don't forget that I told you about it. It's people that we're communicating. Oh, we couldn't do it, or we work next week. This happened. We so good. We're still talking. And professionalism.
Yeah.
Because talent is something, but without professionalism, or it's really hard to continue making good music and being consistent.
Yeah. So tell us, where can we find your music? What are you doing next?
Well, right now on October 1st, Roots in the Morning will be available on all digital platforms. It has been available in Bandcamp. With that, we wanted to do a different kind of approach, and kind of take financial matters into our own hands. So before, it's available on digital platforms, which you get barely any pennies, unless you have 20,000 people. I mean, you need 10,000 people to make $30, It is crazy. So I was like, let's do a different approach. Let's do it through Bandcamp, and have, if we get 30 friends that support us, we already had 10,000 streams, which it's crazy because most songs don't reach 1,000 streams.
Yeah.
You know, most of the regular everyday Joe songs, you know, there's probably thousands of songs uploaded daily to Spotify. And so we did that, and now it will be available after this period that people could exclusively buy our music and listen to it exclusively on Bandcamp. It'll be available for everybody on all digital platforms, iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, Tidal, iHeartRadio, the Deezer, usually all the usual that people listen to. So,
okay,
yeah.
awesome. That's awesome. So his music will be out very soon. You guys heard it. We'll pop it up on the screen, and we'll include all your socials and everything. Before we wrap up, I have a couple more questions to ask you. So I would love to dive in a little deeper into your journey into like surviving cancer. Do you know what you were actually diagnosed with, and what was the hardest part about battling it?
It felt very surreal because my dad was diagnosed with cancer at the same age as I was, but he didn't make it.
Okay.
He died 6 months later, and I got diagnosed at the same age as he did. I was like, is this a family curse or what? You know, am I gonna die?
Wow.
It was hard because I couldn't afford to stop working. That's the first thing. But once I was diagnosed, I was a little relieved because I had been sick for almost 3 years without knowing what I had, so I couldn't treat myself. They would do surgeries in my head. I had 2 surgeries in my head, which took me like 6 months to recover from each. My head would be all crazy and shit. Like, it was nuts. So, and that's why I call my record, you know, One Ear Records, because I lost an ear through this battle. I lost all my hearing on my left side at one point.
Wow.
Now I recovered, I would say like 40% of it.
Okay.
Almost 50 on that ear.
Wow.
And I still did this audio engineering thing, which was the craziest thing.
That's awesome. I
that's
think
pretty
that's
crazy.
amazing.
But I say that one good ear of mine is as good as 2 years of other people.
Yeah.
that sound very egotistic, you would say, but I don't know. I feel like my ears were hyper sensitive, so losing an ear I guess would put me on a level of an average person that wasn't so crazy about music or wasn't so into it.
Right.
And I do some tricks to overcome that. Like I position myself sometimes when I really want to listen to some frequencies that I don't have on the left ear in a certain way in the sweet spot.
Right.
I've had to deal with that, but the hardest part was that I had to work all this time that I was sick. I had surgeries, and the health system here is so expensive. Yeah. I was lucky. I that year that I got diagnosed, I had taken a cancer insurance. That really saved me, because I probably would have lost everything or with medical expenses and chemo treatment. But out of those 6 months of chemo treatment, I had to work half the time because I couldn't afford not making money.
Wow. What's something that you would say that like in your journey of like recovering, what's like something you learned about yourself that you didn't know before?
Well, I learned it kind of set me on a different path spiritually.
Okay.
I grew up in church and stuff, but then I took different paths.
Right.
Spiritual paths, you know, from Rastafarianism, Buddhism, just trying, because I grew up in Christianity and the church and all that, and tried different paths, and I even ended up being an atheist, and then from that I became a little agnostic, I guess, in a way. But then at the end of treatment, I had some spiritual experiences that I think is my ancestors, you know. And I wanted to look for an explanation. of things that cannot be seen with the five senses. That's when I understood that there are things that our five senses cannot really sense or notice, and I got to notice them for the first time in a long time. I experienced something in that day that I was gonna ring the bell. I was by myself in that room, and I experienced something. And then I started going on this journey of learning about the connection and the ancestors, and I got into a different spirituality, and I feel like that's what changed the most. The experience changed me the most spiritually, and that you only live once, so I'm going to do what I need to do to do my mission on earth. You know, we all have a mission, and I feel part of my mission is to do music.
Yeah, that's
it's not all of it, but it's part. It's a big part, and I need to do this before I go.
Yeah, I can certainly relate to music being part of like literally my healing journey as well. Like it's something so. It also like my relationship with God has definitely been from music as well. Like with my personal faith, it's just made it so much stronger, and I feel like it's even been hard, just like when you're when people have like a really hard relationship with like learning more about themselves and getting deeper back into themselves. It's like your relationship with your faith, it's scary because you got to be really honest and vulnerable with yourself, and that's like really, really scary. Like when you sing, you feel like you're being opened up, and it's the same like when it comes to like my relationship with my faith. It's like, oh, like this is me, you have to see me completely. And like when you sing, people got to hear the pain inside of you or whatever fear you got going on. But it definitely helped me get back out there into music, because I was totally scared to like put myself back out there. And I, just like you, could not listen to music for a really long time because I was so, and I still am sensitive to sound, but I could not hear a peep. Like I would literally be like, literally shut the fuck up, stop talking to me. Like I couldn't hear anything. Like I would be like, I can't listen to one single like lyric right now.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah.
If you didn't go crazy through that, like when I went through it too, like I was a very musical person, and then I can't listen to music. That was like, what am I gonna do with my life? You know. So yeah, it's a very strong experience. But when you come back to music, you kind of love it even more.
Yeah, I think it was like the best thing to happen to me too. Yes. Like it was so important to take that break. I remember Dan Luis had mentioned something that Tego Calderon says, where he says that he can't listen to like other artists, and like I think that's a really good thing, because it's like you don't listen to what other people are making. You focus on your journey and your discovery and your relationship. Like everything all came together. Like my relationship with music, my relationship with God, my relationship with learning to be able to listen to myself, because I also could not stand the sound of my own voice. Like I would be like, wow, I don't want to hear it. I didn't even want to hear myself talk. And I used to always use my voice recorder on my iPhone to like as my diary basically, and if I have a song idea, I also sing into it, and I would hate listening to my own voice. But eventually it changed, and like it's just become like my favorite thing to do now. So now every time I have a song idea, it's like, okay, voice recorder, beep, I get started.
The way you say it kind of make me think like learning to listen to yourself is also a way of learning to love yourself.
Ah, absolutely.
You know, that's when you were talking about that. That's just really what came to my mind, because like you don't really like it, but you gotta love yourself. You know, and be vulnerable. Maybe somebody's gonna say some negative things. Maybe people are not gonna like it.
Yeah.
But you
have to be okay with that.
You have to be okay with that. You have
it was
to
just hard.
Love yourself
so hard.
above other people, and that's one of the hardest parts of loving ourselves, in every, I would say, in so many things you have to love yourself, so you don't destroy yourself, so you take care of yourself, so you appreciate yourself, and you give yourself value,
Exactly.
So
anyway. All right, so to wrap up, fun question here, let us know, do you have any artists that you feel like are underrated and you listen to that you could share?
Well, I feel Von Benjamin is underrated.
Yeah, for sure.
That's my top guy, because that's my top guy. So for me, not the whole world to know him, I'm like, what's wrong with everybody? I don't understand. But I feel there's a lot of people that are underrated. I've met people here in Houston in the hip hop scene. Okay. And I'm like, these people are so good and they're so underrated. They're local, but they should be national. I have a friend called C Green. I got to see this guy in a party. I think he's phenomenal. And I'm like rooting for him to get to the next step, to that he starts touring and all that, because let me see who else. I don't know. That's a hard question to see who's underrated, because I don't really pay attention to what everybody else is listening a lot. I kind of go and look for myself. Yeah, it's like always. Good. It's like always looking for that next. I'm like, I heard something new, and like whatever it is, like that feeling of, I found this. I think his name was Michael Kiwanuka, something like that. Okay. He has a song called "Home Again." Okay. Oh my God!
What kind of music is it?
It sounds like folk. It's with a guitar,
Okay. I love folk.
But it's so soulful. Yeah. There's this other guy called Mortimer from Jamaica.
Oh, I love Mortimer.
Right? And I feel like his voice is like so amazing.
It's so good.
Right? I'm like, how is this guy not the top 3 singer now?
I don't get it.
Right?
I don't get it.
I feel he's underrated. Mortimer, definitely, because I feel like besides, who else can you compare that has that kind of voice right now? In reggae. Like, who else?
No, I don't see anybody. So I feel like his voice is so smooth. Yes. And he has a very smooth rasp too. Yes. Like not even the rough rasp, but just a smooth, really old rasp.
I try to sing like him sometimes. That song like Lightning. That song Lightning.
Oh,
that's my shit. That's my shit. I go back to that song every once in a while because I love singing it. And obviously I'm not as good as him, not even close, but I feel like singing like some other people has helped me learn to sing, to find my own voice, because I've never gotten classes or anything, and I feel like I'm not as good as other people. That's why I always like but you know what, fuck it.
Yeah, that's how you learn though. Like the way I learned to sing as well was listening to other people. I think that's how everyone really, whatever industry you're in, you learn by listening to someone else first, and that's how you start to do stuff, and then eventually you learn more about yourself as you continue to discover more things. But and that's where I'm at right now. I'm trying to find my voice. With all these influences and things, what do I sound like? Yeah,
and that's what I've been trying to do. Journey. Yes, what fits me best? What tones fit me best? Or maybe I don't sound so good when I go that high, or maybe I don't. Just finding that space where you are in full force and you can really sing comfortably. And I see some people sing. I listen to some people singing, and I'm like, how the hell did they develop this style? I wonder. Like Mortimer, how did you come up with that style? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy, because you try to imitate them and you can come up with it, but you didn't come up with it yourself. When you sing, you can't sing like them. It's your voice. You can't sing like them. And I'm like, so it amazes me how people come up with their own styles. And people are always coming with, new styles, even though a lot of times the past always returns and people because nobody is really original.
Yeah,
nobody's really original.
I 100% agree with that. I was literally talking about
and
this
yesterday. And you make your own, but you grab from here, from here, and there's comes somebody that sounds so different, and that's when everything stops. And that happens in every genre. Everything stops. It's like, what the fuck is this? You never heard something like that. Rap, reggae, whatever. There's always comes that person, but then it's like we grow a little bit. This can be done, and come more people that sound like that or similar, or change it a little bit. And that's why music is so amazing, because there's been millions of songs written throughout the history of mankind, but there will never end writing songs.
No. And your journey of making your own music, what's something that you've learned about making music, the industry, that you could share with aspiring artists?
Release the music.
For sure.
Release it. You'll grow. You'll get better.
Yeah.
Release it. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Just release it. Everything that start releasing music. Every time, if you put your mind to it, you'll get better at everything you do. And I think that's the thing. Like, you have to have a self-belief that it doesn't take days off. It doesn't you can't take days off and believe in yourself. You have to believe in yourself every day. And that's the only way to stand firm and to stay doing it, because once you stop believing in yourself, then you stop making music.
Yeah.
That's
amazing. And with that is a wrap. Thank you so much for joining us.
It was awesome.
It was so great to hear about your journey and your story. And let us know really quick, what are your socials?
To be honest, my main social is Instagram.
Okay.
I know I gotta expand more, and I gotta get my own website and all that. I know I'm just moving in that direction slowly. But Instagram is where you'll find my music stuff. That's Nattyvo Audio. I will be expanding soon. That's in the works, into TikTok and other stuff. But right now Instagram is my main. I think I saw a post about that you did, that not to dilute ourselves, trying to make posting every social media and stuff like that, because you end up not doing none of them right.
Yeah, I think it's important to have more than one platform, but I think it's important to start with just one and get familiarized with that one, and then once you start getting comfortable, to definitely open yourself up to another one, because you never know. These platforms are so uncertain, and they're always changing and evolving. Even with TikTok, TikTok was sold, we don't know what's happening with that.
Exactly.
And so it's important to at least have two platforms, but
not put all your eggs in a basket.
But don't put all your eggs in one basket. Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you so much for joining us, and I look forward to hearing everything else that you have planned.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Awesome. Have a good one. Thank you so much for being a part of the Beyond Socials podcast, where we have real conversations with people betting on themselves. Until next time.